Hello, welcome to another video about the Land Rover. We've got quite a lot done on it. Not as much as I hoped I'd be able to get done in the 3 weeks off work that I've had, but plenty done. This video should hopefully pretty much catch up to where we are as of today, which is the 29th of May. There's some more paint on the chassis, and I've ended up spending quite a bit of money on parts that I didn't think I was going to need. Never mind though, that's the way it goes with Land Rovers. So I hope you enjoy this video. You can just see me there pressing some wheel studs in, and now we're moving on to pressing their new ball joint into the A-frame ball joint bracket. There's lots of little bits like that on this video, quite a few time lapses. I'll try and talk over those and give you an idea of what's going on. But I hope you enjoy the video. Thank you very much for watching.
It's the right way, isn't it?
You took it out. Of course it is. It is. Yeah. Can't go in any other way, can it? Brief moment of doubt there where we thought that we'd pressed the ball joint in from the wrong side of the bracket. Luckily we hadn't, because it can only go in one way, but there's nothing worse there than doubting yourself. Anyway, I'll speed this up and then we'll move over to the next video, which I filmed on the morning of the 19th of May. Well, this morning the Land Rover is definitely a tale of two halves. This half and that half. After many hours work and several tins of paint, we've got 2 coats of primer and three coats of top coat on there. One was a base coat and then 2 coats of black. And it's a lot shinier than I was expecting it was going to be. Yeah, I think it looks really, really good. It'll fade obviously a little bit, and it'll probably quieten down a bit once we get some bits bolted on, which is going to be today's job. But yeah, fuel tank's done, the chassis itself is done, the rear axle is done, and all those shiny bits over there, fuel filler, seat brackets, ball joint mount, various other bits and bobs, they're all sorted. Rear drive flanges there, done. Yeah, so it's coming on, slowly but surely. Lots more to do, but I'm hopeful that today, by the end of the day, we might have it sitting back on its rear axle. There are some powder coated parts. I'm just going to see if I can stick this up into the tub. You can see there, I've just kept them up out of the way, rear springs, and a few other little bits, rear back plates, A-frame mounts, etc. They're just up there out of the way currently because we're running out of room a bit in the workshop, truthfully. But I'm excited now. I should make a little bit of forward progress. As soon as it's back on its wheels, then we can decide where we're going to position it within the workshop and crack on with the front end. Let's get it done. So because I haven't quite reached Matt Armstrong levels of sophistication with my own camera crew, and because I've got an inability to put the camera in the right place, I completely missed us rebuilding the rear axle. But trust me, I did do that, and here's a picture of what the rear brakes look like. There you go, powder coated back plates, new wheel cylinders. We've stripped and greased the bearings, made sure it's okay, paint on the drive flanges, looking much better. And then eventually get the rear axle on, as you can see, start to get things in line. We end up lifting the rear chassis up slightly just to actually get things in line, which you'll be able to see happening very shortly. Get some straps around, up it goes, and in place. And finally some clean work. The overalls have come off, and we can get cracking with the job of putting some lovely new stainless bolts in place, making sure everything's lined up, that the shock absorbers go on, and the A-frame, and basically the job of getting the chassis and the rear axle connected together properly to ensure that nothing's going to drop off basically. Took us a while, but got it done. I filmed this video later on that afternoon, and while watching it back, I'm struck by the difference in how it looks now compared to when I bought it. And if you remember back to one of the first videos where I said, it's fine, I'm just going to give it a quick clean up underneath and maybe make sure it's okay for an MOT, I realise how far we've gone to the extent of actually basically a nut and bolt restoration, which wasn't quite expected. But I hope you'll agree it looks so much better now, and with the powder coat and paint and the protection that we're going to put on it, massively future-proofed, which is so much better. Then the following day, after a bit of a battle, got the fuel tank on and a few other little bits and pieces, including pulling the wiring in through the chassis, which I did film, but it didn't come out very well, so we'll not bother with that. But yeah, just a little bit more of a shot of the angles of the rear chassis and the protection that we've put on the rear bump starts. Remember the mounts that we had to weld on, and just looking so much better. Then there's some protection on the bolts. I think I'll talk about that in a video in a little while, so I'll not talk too much about that. But yeah, so that looks good, and then I'll pan over to what is still yet to come. Take the bulkhead off, etc. Didn't take any videos at all the next day, other than I took one picture of this puller which we fabricated to remove the steering wheel. I took the bulkhead off and various other little bits and pieces, but I did film a video the following morning, which I'll move on to now. Quick update on the morning of Thursday the 22nd of May. Here we are. The Land Rover is more apart now. Again, back into that slightly depressing phase of taking things apart and finding things wrong. It's okay though, relatively speaking. The bulkhead is off, and the other day something popped up locally on Facebook Marketplace, another bulkhead. So we've now got three. We've got the one that was on the Land Rover, the really rusty one. We've got the one that I bought to repair there, the slightly less rusty one, but still quite rusty. And then we've got the new blue one, which is even less rusty, but still rusty. This one's still got its footwells, albeit a little bit scabby, but not too bad. And it's got just a little bit of rot there and a little bit of rot there. Probably the best bulkhead that we've got out of the three. So that one's probably going to be the one that goes on in time, just because it's probably going to be a little bit quicker to repair that one. The good thing about this one is the windscreen surround, or the vent surround I should say, is good. That's probably the most complex part to repair really. Actually this part there, that's fairly straightforward, and we can modify the footwell as discussed before for the turbo clearance. So the chassis itself, looking really, really good at the back half, as I've already talked about. Dead happy with that. We've put some nice tactile, really high grade, kind of like wax oil but better sealant on, designed to prevent corrosion. You can see it's kind of this, it dries like a brown colour. It's really, really good. That's everywhere pretty much. We put it inside the A-frame ball joint just to try and keep things nice there. So yeah, the back end's all back together. Concentrating on the front half, found a few noughties with the wiring that I need to sort out. I'm probably going to do quite a bit of work to the wiring to make it better. These old school bulleted multi-plug that Land Rover use are pretty grotty, so I'm going to look at making some improvements to those with some more modern plugs on the loom if I can do that. I've incorporated a reversing light wire into the loom for the back, so I want the reversing light. I've got to put a reversing light switch in on the gearbox, which goes just there. Back of the gearbox, got to sort that. So there's a few little things I want to do while it's all apart. But the good thing is now that actually the engine isn't far off coming out at all now. Not much really to take off, and the engine can come out, and we can focus on the bits that need doing on the rear of the chassis. We've been collecting other stuff as well. There's other jobs to do in the workshop. We've been working on a trailer. Dad's been working on that in the meantime, and we've acquired a replacement gearbox for Dad's car, so there's loads of bits and bobs to do. But yeah, just a quick update. I'm going to crack on now and see what the day brings. Thank you. And what the day brought, after some work to disconnect and get the radiator off and intercooler pipes and little bits and pieces, finally got the rad off, as you can see in this video. There it goes. Was an opportunity to look at and expose the absolutely awful bodgy repair that had been done on the front cross member. I'm going to skip to a video now and let you see that. It's absolutely terrible. You can see me sitting there kneeling, looking at it, wondering what on earth's gone on. And what had gone on was this horrendous plated repair of a rustic front crossmember. See the rust there in that front corner and the awful welding. This plate had been made attached with pigeon shit welding and filler to try and hide the corrosion on this front crossmember. Absolutely awful. So the only thing to do is just keep stripping it, get the front axle off, and make access to that front crossmember better by getting rid of everything around it. So that's what I'm working on doing here: turret mounts, shock absorbers, everything else off that I need to get off to enable me to get the front axle off, which is what we then go on to do. That noise was either a wasp or a motorbike. I think it was a motorbike. So like everything else on this project, there's no point doing it by halves, so we're going to strip the front axle, take the wheels off, brakes off, swivels off, everything off, just to clean it up and make sure it's all in good condition. The next day my friend came, Charlie, and he helped me with that. There he is, getting busy with the tool that he called the angry nibbler. It's actually a needle scaler, but angry nibbler works and it's really good for paint and rust removal. Then Dad got busy with the grinder and started removing that awful crossmember repair. So we're on the morning of Monday bank holiday now. Didn't achieve loads over the weekend, but did manage to get a little bit done, which was to get the first coat of primer on the front axle and the hubs, which was popping up on the screen now. So in terms of the front crossmember, you can't actually get one really very easily. You can get one as part of a large section of chassis, but we didn't want that. We just needed the front crossmember itself, so we decided that actually the best thing to do would be to fabricate our own. So a brace was welded to the chassis legs just to make sure that the chassis held in place when the front crossmember was removed. If we face the reality of things, Dad is the master fabricator and I am just a spanner monkey. So Dad got busy with the welder and the grinder and got on with sorting out the corrosion on the chassis legs, basically where the crossmember was welded. Originally there was a bit of corrosion behind there that needed sorting out, which is what he's doing now. That took quite a while, but he did a really nice job of those repairs, which will ensure that any corrosion that was there has been cut out and replaced with nice fresh steel. Quick clip of those repairs then on both sides of the chassis leg, inside where the crossmember will actually be. They haven't been dressed and cleaned up properly as yet, but just to restore the strength into the chassis legs and the mounts for where the actual crossmember itself will sit. Much, much better. So I'd love to say that we've been able to retain some semblance of originality with this crossmember, but it's not to be. The only steel we had in stock was some 5mm thick box section, which is wonderfully strong and will be ideal as a crossmember. It just won't look anything like the original, unfortunately. Never mind, we've got to chop it down because this piece is 5 foot long and we don't need that much. So that's what's going on here. Once this is fitted and welded on, it'll be stronger than probably any other Land Rover crossmember. And one day in the future, when the Land Rover's rotted away, this bit of steel will probably still be there. So it's plenty strong enough. All it's got to do ultimately is support the rad and obviously tie the front of the chassis together properly. So it'll definitely do its job in that respect. Here's the crossmember being fabricated and about to be welded onto the chassis, which was a real nice momentous moment. Got that on, stuck on nicely with plenty of good decent welds. No drama with that, and once it's on, there's a little video coming up of what it looks like. Here's a new front crossmember fitted, and it is rock solid. 5mm thick
welds.
Steel, good welds. What's left of the original crossmember, there's very little to that. Most of it had rotted away.
You can see the rotten side.
Yeah, and that would have originally been on there.
That was originally there.
And then this repair piece,
This abomination
had been made to
fit on top of it,
bodged around there,
and then bent round,
and folded
and
round.
somehow welded on where it touched.
And it was glued with crap welds and filler and pigeon shit welding. Awful. And now we've got a proper front crossmember. We'll speed it up and talk over it. Okay?
Ready?
Yeah. So that's where we're up to. The front crossmember is on and looking really, really good. I haven't been at the workshop for the last few days, so I've not been able to do anything, but Dad has, and he's been cracking on. So I'll get some pictures and a video put together of those developments and others ready for the next video. There is an event at the start of July that I want to get this Land Rover finished for, which is optimistic but possible. So I'm going to keep grafting on it, and I'll keep you informed as much as I can. So in the meantime, please like and subscribe. Please recommend this channel to anybody who you think might be interested in watching my dad and I restore this old Land Rover and get it back on the road. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm going to get down the workshop as soon as I can and get some more footage ready to make the next one. Thank you very much.